The more people fled the country, the more the choice became between do I support my enemies who are killing and abusing me and torturing my sons in illegal jails and so on, or do I align myself with this force, evil as it may be and backward and sort of barbaric in its dealings with its opponents, it may be, but it doesn't really care if you're pro-Gaddafi or not. What they care about is their own sort of ideological Islamist fundamentalist perspective. And that allowed them to grow, not just on the surface and in an explicit way as they do in certain other pockets, but underneath. There are a lot of people, if given the choice between do I support these guys, the militias who ended up destroying the country for the last 5 years, and these political classes that are playing, I call them playing government, more or less like, you know, little girls playing house. And I was arguing in 2012, 2013, up to 2014 that the international community needs to really take charge of Libya and send in peacekeeping forces before a full-blown civil war breaks out between various fragments and various parties. At that time, you still had sort of a semblance of a government like Zidane and so on. It was possible then to do it. They waited, they sort of dilly-dallied as usual, until now you have a much deeper fragmentation, not only in the political surface of the country, but even on the social level and regional level or tribal levels. Trust has completely disappeared. You can't create a government with 9 heads in it, and 5 of those heads have a veto power over the decisions made by the others. And each one of these is being put there by a different group inside Libya. And even all of them together are basically chosen from one camp in the political and tribal structure of the country, which is the February camp, the guys who came after Gaddafi. And you excluded everybody else who was with Gaddafi. And there are significant numbers of people. It's not a small number. And there are a lot of alliances that he has created over 40 years of rule. If they stay as they are, and if the United Kingdom, the United States, Italy, France, Germany do not force a much more credible process in place, and don't choose more credible partners to play with in Libya, I think the country is going to continue to slide downward. I think the fragmentation will deepen. I think you will see even a much larger presence of extremist groups of all sorts in the country. I think criminal gangs that have flourished over the last year will become even much more ambitious in their trades of guns, drugs, and human beings. In Libya, there is the oil to fight over. There is access to Europe. There is access to Africa. There is the presence on the Mediterranean. There is the access to Egypt. There is access to Algeria. And there are 20-some million pieces of weapons floating around in a population of 5 million.